Was it that kind of idea of people putting themselves through this like hugely grueling physical and mental experience, I suppose, or spell or ritual? Was it that kind of was the seed, I suppose, of the story and kind of drove you forward in terms of kind of keeping with that, the concept that you originally had?
But I think every story should be like tunneling into a particular person. Should be sort of like almost an outward expression of their inner life. And when you do something like this, which really, I mean, the actual magic itself is much more akin to what we would consider sort of religious. It is about burrowing her into her own deep psyche and sort of coming out the other side where she could have got completely lost in it. So, I mean, it's about redemption. I mean, it's something like the 12-step methods and stuff. That's a sort of inner journey, Augustinian journey into the self. And you can either get lost, or you can find God. That's the 12-step program of the Augustinian worldview.
One scene which I thought, there were so many, but one that really stands out for me that really builds that so much is just before the final act there, where she's there, she's bent over her page, and then you've got the inanimate cigarette, and then like it's that whole thing, isn't it, of like, is that a shape or is that my jacket in the in the corner? Or it was done so well. Talk us through that kind of scene. That was really effective.
When I was a child, I was an expert at getting coats and things like that. Put them on a chair in the exact shape so that at 2 o'clock in the morning I'd wake up and it'd be the perfect shape of someone staring at me. And I used to do it all the time, so that got incorporated into the film. So it was just, it's that madness at the edges thing. What I wanted to do was a sort of film, that Nietzsche quote, I suppose it's overquoted, that stare into the abyss and eventually the abyss will stare back at you. And that's the kind of theme I wanted for this film. Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, because I think, and we can all relate to that as well, where we wake up in the middle of the night and we go after a nightmare or something and we see that shape and we kind of go, but she ventures forward and you're kind of going, oh my God, she's actually venturing. She wants to go into that abyss, doesn't she?
Well, she is absolutely. Catherine used to, she was talking about, it's like halfway through the actual film that she mentioned this to me, that she saw the character finishing this ritual, getting her revenge on her, and then she's going to commit suicide. She's just thrown everything at this. This is the last, that's why she puts up with it all.
Yeah.
Because this is it. This is all she has left.
Yeah.
That's it. So she's going to do this and then she's going to commit suicide and it'll be done. This is the final act of her life. So what I did was to build their characters. I gave them a list of their life events, and we went through them together, sort of big blocks of their life, and then I sent them away and to fill in the rest of it.
Okay.
Then I sat them down on the second day, and I was God, and I asked them to tell me about them, their life story. So as they went through it, they built their life as they actually explained it to me, and then I'd ask them questions about the motivations and everything like that. And Steve said, once we'd done that was it. He knew what he was doing, he knew what the character was. So we basically, I wouldn't say we stopped rehearsal, but we eased back.
Yeah.
So when they took it to them, it was what it was, So a lot of kind of backstory, a lot of...
Yeah, and it obviously worked so well because, as you said at the start there, like it's very much these two in this from two different worlds, because you do get that sense obviously that she has money and she's well off, way more than he is to an extent, and they're thrown into this situation together, and how are they going to react? So I need to talk to you about casting, because Steve and Catherine, I mean, they are up there. Like for the first viewing of this, I was like, how do I know Steve? How do I know Steve? How do I know Steve? And then I remembered Sightseers, which was just a fantastic. He's often done horror, I suppose, but it's been comedy. Yeah. So this was his first kind of straight. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Have you ever seen A Canal with it's an Irish horror as well. And Steve was the detective in it. Again, it was more comic role. And I grew thinking, that's exactly the sort of person I want. That's that. And then it kept on seeing him all over the place.
There you go, yeah, the universe points in it.
Well, Catherine as well. Sort of like every actress in Ireland seemed to turn down this role. So, and then someone pointed me in Catherine's direction. And the day that happened, she was at the front of a magazine, sort of looking at me. So maybe there is some sort of synchronicity there.
There totally is. Absolutely. What is she looking at in the room? Nothing.
She's looking at nothing in the room, no.
Oh.
So it's just all that gold leaf stuff that's coming down at the end. That is a dupe. You know, there's black snow that comes down when they're in hell sequence
Yes.
with the dog. I duped that. This is when we're in. You know, we've got an hour's left. So I duped that and turned it into gold instead of black, and then slapped it on top of the angel, just to make it work better. So we put flat, the time was running down, and God, the fun of it.
The fun is right. So yes, as I mentioned, so many Reddit theories, internet, stories. It's great. It's a good read actually, all that stuff. So has he killed her son? Has Steve's character been in any way?
No way involved, no.
Okay, but I always thought it was a bit weird that he sort of said, you don't think I'm involved?
That's because the Irish Film Board said I had to do that. So, so they said you've got to have a line explaining, because we're all worried about it. Yeah? And I said, if you start sort of saying, right, answers to questions that haven't been asked always lead to more questions.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Hence Reddit.
Hence Reddit. So I always said that once you start saying, was he involved? Yeah. Then people will start, and this proves my point. So.
Well, you do have some very interesting fan theories there. But as you mentioned there at the start, it is very much kind of this odyssey through her grief and through revenge and through the darkness that can bring back to the light as such. And I think that's really the crux of it. And to frame that within the horror genre, I think is quite interesting. And I want to say probably a little bit unique as well.
Yeah, so just that's what you're taking your own stuff to it, aren't you, really? So you're trying to do something that's a bit different. So it's I don't know where you're getting from, right? Because what happens it's the redrafting process is we did it good and proper. I didn't get paid for anything, so I did a year and a half of redrafting. I got paid very little. So, but you know, that's when the nuances come in. That's when all the themes start building, themes after themes. You know what I mean? So it starts getting depth to it.
I do have to ask you, did a child say the C word?
No, they didn't. So that was the guy's son. That was the sound designer's son.
Okay.
So I can't remember what it's called now. But we got him to say cunning stunt.
Love it.
And then you can edit it together. So do you know I've always thought that more people would pick up on that. The first person that's actually I think it'd be quite a thing you'd ask someone.
Yeah.
Did you make a child say C word?
I was warming you up to that question. It was really the first question I wanted to ask. I'm joking. But no, he's fantastic because it's
Nathan.
There you go. Nathan, what a little legend. Because he's just. Well, kids are creepy anyway, right, in this scenario. But he just has that perfect element of, oh no, maybe it is her son. Oh, is it really? It's on the precipice of that, isn't it?
Well, what I wanted to do was, again, breaking the genre rules. There's a child, her dead child talking to her, asking to go in the room. Now, in a normal horror, she would because she's stupid.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I go, well, she's not. She wouldn't. You know, she's a very intelligent woman. And it is that pull at the heartstrings though. So it's that pull and that push.